Hi, my name is Josh Beecraft, and I'm presenting a video for you here today. It's some information that my wife, Jennifer Tavanna, has put together on some positive parenting tips and practices. Today specifically, we're going to discuss discipline versus punishment and what some of the differences are there. So, first and foremost, I want to introduce you to my wife. My wife, Jennifer. Right here, this is her. This is Jennifer. Jennifer has a very extensive background with dealing with children. She received her Child Development Associate. She ran a latchkey program as well as a summer camp, and then owned and operated her own preschool for about 7 years. So that alone would be enough enough for me. But she's good at what she does, so she's able to deal with kids running around like that all day. And then on top of that, for 2 years straight, she was a nanny for a child psychologist and a doctor, and both of those people, with the knowledge they have, trusted her very much with their children, and considered her part of the family for a long time. So I know when I first met Jennifer, I was really unsure of what it was I was going to be able to give my son in life, and what I really had to offer, and I was just at one of those points, that I didn't know what was what, and she taught me a ton of this stuff, and now it's just an amazing situation with my son as far as my relationship with him, and how well he behaves and listens, and how respectful he is, and all the good qualities that we want to teach our kids. So I know I sat up and listened to her when she started teaching me, so I invite you to learn some of this stuff here. In case you're wondering why I'm putting together this presentation, I flipped to the next slide here. I want to let you know that she does have a website. It's jennifertavanna.com/children. She does do a lot of other stuff, but being a child expert is one of those things. Back to why I'm doing this presentation and Jennifer is not. As good as Jennifer is at the things she is good at, and she's even good at doing this kind of stuff, she just prefers not to. I can do these kind of technical things a little bit better. So she asked me to do it, and me being a supporting husband, I obliged to her request. So that is why I'm doing the presentation, and just introducing you to her. So as I said before, in this short presentation I will show you the main differences between discipline and punishment. The question at hand here is, punishing a child for inappropriate behavior is an effective way to discipline your child, right? Jennifer says wrong. And I'm going to agree with this, because punishment is actually not a positive parenting technique. Okay, it's in no way any form of discipline, and it's rarely effective at teaching anybody anything, let alone children. Discipline, on the other hand, is an effective way. Discipline will teach the child about the effects of their choices. It will lovingly guide the child by providing a positive direction, and it offers a consistent consequence to reinforce the lessons being taught. And that's really important, that consistent consequence. That's much different than punishment for sure. So I'm going to talk about punishment for a moment, but beforehand I want to really get clear on what we're saying punishment is and what we're saying discipline is. Punishment would be, I'm going to use an example of a kid running through the house. Okay, kid comes running through the house, and punishment would be, "Hey, what are you doing? Get over here! Come here! You're running through the house." You give him a spanking. "Now go stand in the corner for 10 minutes. Okay, punishment is basically says, you did this, so I'm going to do this to you, and then I'm going to go back to doing what I'm doing. Okay, there's nothing there except for literally, you made me mad, so I punished you. Discipline, on the other hand, to give you the same example, using what we would consider discipline, would be, "Stop. What are you doing? Come over here, please. Were you running in the house?" Yes. Do you know that that's a rule to not run in the house? Yes. Okay, so it's probably a bad choice, isn't it? Yeah. You know why it's a rule to not run in the house? Well, because I could fall and get hurt. That's right. So what do you think a better choice would have been? Well, to not run in the house. Yeah. So you know what? You know you made a bad choice, and you know what a good choice is now, and I think you're smart enough to know that next time you can make a good choice, but you know what the discipline is for breaking the rules. Yes, you need to have a timeout, so I want you to go sit for 5 minutes in timeout, and I want you to think about the choice you made and what choice you could make next time. Okay, do you see how that's completely different? And I may have drugged that out a little more, but I really wanted to illustrate the point. Discipline offers guidance. You see, kids, and I'm going to get into this in the presentation, but kids just don't know what to do naturally. They need to be taught. And, you know, you could argue that the timeout is a punishment, and it is, but it's accompanied with discipline, which makes it a completely different dynamic. So let's get into talking about punishment, and I'll get into some of that more as we go on here, but punishment is where a lot of the confusion really sits. Okay? Punishments have been used to try to correct behavior for so long that people think it's doing something that it's not. Okay, in fact, punishment is even less effective at correcting child behavior problems than it is at correcting behavior issues in adults. Now let's think about this for a minute. I don't want to get too, sort of grim with this. We're talking about parenting our children here, but I want you to think about the prison system that we have here in the United States. If you really think that that's an effective way of correcting behavior issues, then great, but I think the large majority of us do not believe that that's the case. I think the statistics speak for themselves. Most people that go to prison and get out end up going back for not having made any corrective behavior adjustments. So, in the point we're trying to illustrate here is it's even less effective in children, and the reason is because they don't even have a frame of reference to consider how to correct the problem. They just realize what they do is wrong, and they begin to identify with it. Where adults, we have enough of a frame of reference to say, maybe I shouldn't do this again, at least most of the time. So, more importantly, because of the familiarity with using punishment to modify behavior, people are truly ignorant to the negative effects of it altogether. And I think this is true for the most part. People really don't consider how negative a straight punishment can be, and it's just a lack of education at that point, which is why we're doing this video. So